Hi, I'm Jude from HeadFi.org. On this episode of HeadFi TV, we're going to talk about CanJam London 2017. That's happening July 15th and 16th at the Park Plaza Westminster Bridge Hotel in London. Now, make sure to join us. This is going to be an amazing CanJam. It's our third one in London, and this one is expected to be bigger than last year. We have more exhibitors than last year. That also means then that we have a lot to cover in this video, so we already know it's going to be a long one. So let's get right to it. Let's look at some of the things you'll be able to hear and see at CanJam London 2017. Correlated Magnetics Research will be exhibiting at CanJam London 2017, and I'd have to say they're among the most interesting new headphone players in the market. I met Jason Morgan from Correlated Magnetics at the Association of Loudspeaker Manufacturing and Acoustics International Symposium and Expo earlier this year, and he hinted that he and his colleagues were working on a project that he thought I'd find interesting. It turns out he was absolutely right. What makes Correlated Magnetics' headphone project particularly compelling is that they're not coming from a background making headphones, loudspeakers, or any strictly acoustical engineering finished products. These guys, their specialty is engineering the way magnets behave. They use a technology they've developed called polymagnets, which are essentially programmable magnets that can be configured to do things that no conventional rare earth magnets can, far beyond the simple attract and repel qualities we typically associate with magnets. Here's one example. If you understand magnets at all, then you'll understand why this demonstration is, to say the least, quite unusual. Here we have two polymagnets that were crafted to show behavior that two conventional magnets obviously would not show. When I let go of this one, you can see that the two magnets are attracted to one another as they join in the middle. Only they don't completely join in the middle, they stop short. At this distance and shorter, they're now repelling each other, forming what polymagnet calls a spring. The repulsion is strong enough that it's actually quite difficult to squeeze them enough to touch each other. The repulsion is so tightly defined that even just pulling them apart a tiny amount from here, and you feel that attraction is the predominant force again, and you're out of the range of repulsion. To me, it's amazing to see this combination of attraction and repulsion on the same axis. At first, it's bizarre, and for me anyway, it never fails to fascinate. And here's another cool demonstration that Correlated Magnetics calls a spring latch. As you can see, these two polymagnets are latched together. They're attracted to one another. But if you give them a simple twist, they become unlatched, and they're now repelling each other, forming that spring again. Twist again, and once again, they're latched and attracted to one another. Amazing. These are just a couple of the simple examples of what they can do, how they can tune polymagnets to get specific mechanical responses. I have several cool polymagnet demonstration gizmos here, and I cannot stop playing with them. So what does all this have to do with audio? Well, simply put, Correlated Magnetics has the ability to precisely control the magnetic field to get the physical behavior they want. And since electrodynamic drivers use magnets, Correlated Magnetics set out to address a fundamental flaw in drivers, namely distortion, and they developed a technology called polymagnet linear driver. Unlike normal dynamic or planar magnetic drivers, the polymagnet linear driver, in order to help reduce distortion, is engineered to provide a uniform magnetic field for its voice coil throughout its entire travel path. I think this could prove an important development, and I have a feeling we may see others employing their technology, or at least seeking to employ their technology, in the not-too-distant future. For their own headphone, which right now they're calling the Correlated Magnetics Research 2625 headphone, they're also employing two drivers per side, which they're using to help give a wider soundstage and a more open feel, among other claimed benefits. In each ear cup, there's a front and rear driver. The front driver covers mids and highs, and the rear driver covers lower frequencies. The design uses a clever passive acoustic crossover, by the way, that maybe they'll let me talk about in greater detail another time. This is one of their early prototypes, and even in this rough form, it sounds pretty darn impressive and does in fact have low measured distortion. I measured it here. As I understand it, their latest versions have been quite improved, and they also look a whole lot better, as you can see in the photos, and CanJam London will likely be my first time to hear those versions too. By the way, go to Correlated Magnetics' homepage and click on the video link there and watch the episode of Smarter Every Day, a YouTube channel I absolutely love, by the way. They have an episode where they covered Correlated Magnetics and their polymagnets. And of course, make sure to stop by Correlated Magnetics exhibit at CanJam London 2017. Astell&Kern will be at CanJam London 2017. Expect to see their entire line there, but I'd recommend you focus on these two models. This is the new flagship from Astell&Kern. It's called the A & Ultima SP1000. It takes first place in the line, replacing the AK380 at the top of the heap, but the AK380 does stay in the line, by the way. So some key improvements versus the AK380. The SP1000 has a new octa-core CPU versus a dual-core CPU in the AK380. This is much, much faster, not just than the AK380, which was pretty responsive, I mean versus any other portable digital audio player that I have used. So very snappy, much more like a very modern, very up-to-date mobile phone in terms of its responsiveness. Very nice to see. They also upgraded the DAC section. They've gone to an AK4497 EQ dual DAC setup versus the dual AK4490s in the AK380. So again, they've improved the DAC section by using the latest and greatest from AKM. Perhaps the most noticeable outward improvement with the SP1000 versus the AK380, a 5-inch screen versus a 4-inch screen with higher resolution. It's a significantly larger screen, you can tell the moment you hold it in your hand. Another key improvement, a significant increase in maximum output power. The AK380 has maximum out from its balanced outs of 2.2 volts RMS, the SP1000 3.9 volts RMS. When you're moving hundreds of gigs of music to and from your player, transfer speed matters a lot, and these players do allow you to store a lot of music, and the SP1000 moves to USB 3.0, allowing for much faster transfer times, very much appreciated. Also, it has fast charge ability, so if you have a 9-volt fast charger, it will charge significantly faster. Of course, you can use a standard charger as well, it just won't charge quite as fast. I've also found the Wi-Fi reception on the SP1000 to be significantly better than on the AK380, which actually was pretty good. It's just that at my office and at home, I seem to have a lot more freedom to move about and keep maximum signal with Wi-Fi, and part of the reason is, I think, they moved to an omnidirectional antenna with the SP1000 versus a directional antenna with the AK380. Now, this multifunction wheel is also a key improvement with UI. This controls now not only volume, but power on and off and LCD on off. It's also groovy that it looks like the crown from an IWC Big Pilot wristwatch. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And I also like the new stainless steel chassis. So the SP1000, remarkably cool flagship, sounds fantastic. Check it out at CanJam London. The other player you need to check out at the Astell&Kern exhibit at CanJam London is without a doubt the new Con. The Con is among their most affordable players, but despite the affordable price, it's among their most feature-packed. And it is, in my opinion, the best value in the entire Astell&Kern line right now. So they made a courageous choice to go with a slightly thicker chassis than your typical digital audio players on the market today, but they did it for very good reason. They did it to squeeze a 6,200 milliamp hour battery that gives you up to 15 hours of playtime, so that's worthwhile to me. But they also did it to give you huge maximum output from a player this size. 7 volts RMS maximum output from its balanced outputs. That makes it almost as powerful as the optional outboard AK amp for the AK300 series players. So that's a big deal, a lot of maximum drive. I also love that both of these players, and really all of the current generation Astell&Kern players, include aptX HD for optimum Bluetooth wireless performance, for lossless, essentially, wireless performance. Now, I have the Audio-Technica, their latest generation Bluetooth headphones that also have aptX HD, and they sound fantastic when paired with any of these Astell&Kern players with aptX HD. Anyways, make sure to check out the new SP1000 and the Astell&Kern Con at the AK exhibit at CanJam London 2017. Audeze will be at CanJam London 2017, and while I'm sure all of you are familiar with their over-ear headphones like the legendary LCD line, the Signs, the EL8s, I think it's their in-ear monitors that you need to pay closest attention to. There's a lot of excitement going on with Audeze and their in-ear monitors. Now, these are the first two models that were released. That's the iSign 10 and the iSign 20. They're already very popular on HeadFi and very well regarded. Now, in case you're not familiar with the iSign 10 and the iSign 20, they are semi-open back, full range, planar magnetic in-ear monitors. Very open sounding, lovely soundstage, lots of detail. But these, again, have been out for a little while. A lot of you probably know it. So this is the one I want to focus on today. This is the one I think you need to listen to for sure at CanJam London. It's their flagship Audeze LCD-i4. Now, because the LCD-i4 on the outside looks somewhat similar to the iSign 10 and the iSign 20, I think some are going to initially assume that it's maybe just some extension of the existing line, and that's not the case at all. This is a true flagship class product. In fact, I would say it has more in common with the LCD-4, their flagship over-ear headphone. In fact, it uses the same diaphragm material as the LCD-4. That is a nanoscale, that means a sub-micron thickness diaphragm. That's orders of magnitude thinner than the diaphragms in the iSign 10 and the iSign 20. Also, the trace technology that they use in it is also similar to what they're using in the LCD-4. It's a more precise design. We got to look at it under a microscope. It's actually pretty incredible. We're going to do a whole episode of HeadFi TV about the LCD-i4 because it is that special. So if you've been on HeadFi and you've seen, this is starting to be delivered now. The users who have taken delivery of the LCD-i4 seem to be almost universally thrilled by it. It is that good. So make sure to check it out. Again, we'll have a HeadFi TV episode just about this headphone, the LCD-i4, CanJam London 2017. It's an absolute must-hear. FiiO will be at CanJam London, and while I expect I'll have their entire lineup, I think the FiiO product I'm still most excited about is their X5 Generation 3 portable digital audio player. On this one, I'm running Android 5.1.1, and I'm able to install third-party apps from the Google Play Store, which means I'm running Tidal on it, which I do love, including Tidal offline storage. It has Bluetooth with aptX. It has 32 gigs of internal storage with 2 microSD expansion slots, which I wish all players would offer instead of only 1. It has dual AKM AK4490 DACs. Dual 4490s are typically found in higher-end players, most of which are several times the price of the X5 Gen 3. Long story short, the X5 Gen 3 by FiiO is without a doubt one of the strongest values in premium portable digital audio players right now. FiiO will also have their new F5 in-ear monitors at CanJam London. The FiiO F5 uses a single titanium diaphragm 13.6mm dynamic driver per side. The FiiO F5's housings are made of anodized and galvanized aluminum alloy, and it comes with 2 cables, one terminated in 3.5mm for unbalanced connections and a 2.5mm balanced cable. As with the X5 Gen 3 digital audio player, the F5 in-ear is also an outstanding value, and as FiiO does with so many of their products, they're punching above their price with these. Now make sure to stop by FiiO's exhibit at CanJam London to hear the X5 Gen 3 digital audio player, the new FiiO F5 IEMs, and the rest of the FiiO lineup. Someone once said to me, in the pro audio world there are 2 gods, Les Paul and Rupert Neve. Watch Dave Grohl's rockumentary Sound City, which is a film about the legendary recording studio of the same name. If you're a music geek, it's a fantastic documentary with great stories of the studio from some of the most legendary names in rock. But you know what it also was? It was a 2.5-hour video love letter about the legendary Neve mixing console that was at the Sound City studio. Now, to this day, if a studio has Neve consoles, or any Neve gear for that matter, they'll make sure to let you know, as Neve gear is among the most well-regarded the world over. Am I a fan of Rupert Neve? Well, this is a photo that I have of Mr. Neve. It's a giveaway promotional photo provided by the company. Mr. Neve doesn't know me from Adam, but I put this photo up like Rupert's a family member or something. This is a photo of my son with Santa Claus. This is Rupert Neve. Also, I have this limited edition Rupert Neve commemorative pin. I think there were only 100 or so of them made, and I have one of them. So am I a fan of Mr. Neve? Yes. Yes, I am. Well, last year, Neve released a headphone amplifier called the RNHP that was designed by Rupert Neve. The RNHP is based on the headphone circuit from their 5060 centerpiece desktop mixer, but it's been further optimized for its purpose-built, more singular task of headphone driving. How's it sound? Well, it's accurate and detailed, but just as Neve's consoles are not known for harshness, the RNHP is likewise anything but harsh. I have no need for a Neve mixing console here, so Neve releasing a product that actually does make sense for me to own, a dedicated headphone amp, was fantastic news. When we got our first RNHP here, we measured it. It measured so well and the channels tracked so tightly that the RNHP is still, to this day, one of the reference headphone amps we use to drive headphones in our audio measurement lab here at HeadFi HQ. Its THD is super low, it's quiet, its output impedance is so low it's negligible, it's just a fantastic amp for a measurement system. But it's a shame to limit such a lovely sounding amp to playing only sine waves, square waves, sweeps, and other signals only suited for testing, so we had to pick up a couple more RNHPs for listening to music instead of just test tones. Anyway, Rupert Neve Designs is going to be at CanJam London, so make sure to stop by and listen to their RNHP. One of my favorite things about CanJams is coming across products and companies there that were completely unfamiliar to me. Now in this case, I want to start with a company that I'm very familiar with that has 3 new products that I'm completely unfamiliar with, and we're talking about Ultrasone. They're going to be there with something called the NAOS. I'm going to assume it might be pronounced Naus. It's a compact 24-192 DAC amp. It's compatible with all mobile devices, including iOS and Android, and it's going to be priced at €169. They're also going to be showing the Sirius, which is a Bluetooth adapter to make their Performance Series headphones wireless. It has aptX and it's going to be €139. They're also going to show the Go Bluetooth. This headphone is the wireless successor to the Ultrasone Go headphone. It has 15 to 17 hour battery life per charge. It only takes 2.5 hours to charge. It has aptX and it's going to be €149. Fischer and Kennerton will be at CanJam London. They're going to have a few models of headphones that I have little to no familiarity with. One is called the Kennerton Valley or Valley. It has 50mm dynamic drivers. It's an open back model. The cups are made of Peruvian walnut and you have a choice of natural or varnished finish. There's also the Kennerton Odin, which is the flagship. That's an 80mm planar magnetic driver. I've heard it briefly and was impressed, but it was such a brief listen. It's an open back model, and there are choices of several woods that you can choose. There's the Fischer FA011 10th Anniversary Edition. I'm familiar with the Fischer FA011. What I'm not familiar with is what makes the 10th Anniversary Edition any different. It has 40mm dynamic drivers. It's an open back model. I'm looking forward to finding out what makes it a 10th Anniversary Edition. I love good tube amps, and at CanJam London there'll be a couple companies there that make tube amps that I'm not that familiar with. One is Felix Audio. They're going to have their Euphoria. This is an amp with pure silver signal wiring, Mundorf and Nichicon caps, Pavane 6SN7 driver tubes, Dale and Caddock resistors. It'll support headphone impedances from 32 to 600 ohms. They'll also have the Felix Audio Elise, which is an amp with matched Tungsol 6SN driver tubes that you can optionally upgrade to matched Pavane 6SN7 driver tubes. And finally, they'll also have the Felix Audio Espressivo, their most affordable tube amp. I'm not familiar with that one at all, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. Another tube amp company whose amps I'm not familiar with is Auris Audio. They're going to have at CanJam London their Hedonia amp. The Hedonia uses an ECC99, two 2A3 tubes, and has max output of 3 watts. Auris Audio will also be showing their HA2SE. The HA2SE uses an ECC82, 4 PL95s or EL95 tubes. It's also equipped with an impedance selector, so depending on what the impedance of your headphone is, you can select on the HA2SE 50 ohms, 150 ohms, 300 ohms, or 600 ohms. Max output for the HA2SE is 1 watt. Kuos is a company from Devon, so a UK company that I hadn't previously heard of. Now, they're going to be at CanJam London showing a new product called the Real Amp. I believe they're crowdfunding this right now. The Real Amp is a portable DAC amp with bit-perfect wireless streaming. According to the description, it says lossless streaming that doesn't require Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. I'm not sure how that works, so I'm really curious to find out what that means. So it also says it has isolated USB, it has a balanced amp, output is up to 1.5 watts, it supports PCM up to 32384 and 2496 isolated. Now the crowdfunding campaign hits Indiegogo in July. Again, I'm very curious about this Real Amp. I'm very excited about this. THX will be at CanJam London, and they'll be showing their THX AAA headphone amplifier technology. Now, first of all, if you're into audio measurements, then you'll probably find this interesting. The THX AAA headphone amp is the best measuring headphone amplifier we've ever measured here in terms of noise floor and distortion, by a margin. We have what is currently the world's best audio analyzer here at the office, the Audio Precision APX 555. And the THX AAA's noise floor and distortion levels are infinitesimally low enough to come as close as we've yet seen to approaching the APX 555's performance in those regards. THX credits a patented feed-forward error correction topology that they use to cancel conventional distortion mechanisms. Whatever it is, it obviously works very well. THX will be licensing out their AAA headphone amp technology, not selling it directly to consumers. There are 6 variations. The lower power version is expected to be available in chip form. This example of the flagship variation of the AAA sounds excellent and has enough gusto to drive just about any non-electrostatic headphone available, yet, as its measurements suggest, it's still dead quiet enough to use with even the most sensitive IEMs we have on hand. Make sure to stop by THX's exhibit at CanJam London if you want to hear what the world's best measuring headphone amplifiers sound like with your favorite headphones and IEMs. I've talked about Smith Research in several videos now, and it's for very good reason. Their Smith Realizer A16 demo is easily one of the most amazing 3D headphone technology demos I've ever heard. Actually, I want to restate that. It is the most amazing 3D headphone technology demo I've yet heard. Now, in the CanJam New York video, I went over the Realizer and how it works in some detail, so make sure to check that video out if you're interested in specifically how it works. Long story short, Smith Research sets up a real 7.1.4 channel loudspeaker home theater system at the show. That's 7 surround speakers, a subwoofer, and 4 height channels. Then they'll do a virtual rendering of that room specifically personalized to you, generated through the Smith Realizer A16. Now, you won't believe you're listening to headphones when they switch between the loudspeakers and the headphones. As I've said before, you can't do better than they're doing to take headphone sound completely out of your head right now. I haven't heard anything more convincing, and you can't do better than 100% convincing. Now, definitely do the Smith Realizer A16 demonstration if you can at CanJam London. Focal will be at CanJam London 2017, and they're also one of the CanJam London sponsors, so thank you so much, Focal, for your continued support of CanJam. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, I have to imagine that you're probably at least somewhat familiar with these two headphones. These are the flagship Focals. That's the Focal Utopia. This is the Focal Eliar. When they launched, we did a rather long, detailed HeadFi TV episode dedicated to these two headphones. We showed measurements, we discussed technical details, we showed even video of the drivers moving, and it helps you understand, I think, in that episode of HeadFi TV, so make sure to watch it, what makes these headphones so special. But to really understand what makes them special is to hear them. And at CanJam London 2017, you'll have, of course, an opportunity to do that. And especially the Focal Utopia, which is the flagship of the two flagships, to me, this is one of the best non-electrostatic headphones that you can buy today. So make sure to stop by Focal's exhibit to listen to these headphones at CanJam London. Focal also just announced a slew of new products that are more affordable than either the Utopia or the Eliar. There are 3 new models of in-ears. One is an update of the Focal Sphere, and it's called the Focal Sphere S. It's so new, we don't even have one here yet, so I'm looking forward to hearing the Sphere S at CanJam London. The other new in-ears are the Focal Spark and the Spark Wireless. I'm actually excited to see Focal entering the wireless space. Wireless headphones have been getting better and better. I've been using them more and more as a result, either when I'm on the go or sometimes even when I'm just casually moving around the office or at home. It's nice to have wireless. And to see someone like Focal with such acoustics expertise marrying that with wireless is very exciting. In-ears aren't the only thing that Focal's making wireless. They also just announced a new wireless over-ear called the Focal Listen Wireless. And as the name suggests, it is a wireless version of the Focal Listen, which is currently the most affordable headphone in the Focal over-ear line. So I'm very excited to see that they're making both a wireless in-ear and a wireless over-ear. Make sure to check out the entire Focal line, wireless and wired, at CanJam London 2017. Now, we've talked about digital audio players at CanJam London from Astell&Kern and FiiO, but there will be other players from other makers, so let's go over a few of them now. Ibasso will be at CanJam London. They'll have their DX80, but the player they make that I think most people are interested in is the DX200. This is their new player. It's their flagship player. It supports PCM up to 32384 and DSD up to DSD 512. The DX200 has dual ESS 9028 Pro DACs. It uses an ARM Cortex A53 octa-core CPU, has 2 gigs of RAM, and a 4.2-inch touch LCD with physical buttons. It also is a platform for swappable amp modules. Now, the default amp module has 2.5mm balanced headphone out, 3.5mm single-ended headphone out, and a 3.5mm line out. Also, the unit is well shielded from EMI and RF. Also, Ibasso will have at their exhibit IEMs, headphones, and portable amps. Shanling will also be at CanJam London with a couple of player models. They'll have the M1. It's a diminutive player, 2.35-inch screen, only weighs 60 grams, supports PCM up to 24192, DSD up to DSD 128. It'll go 9 to 10 hours on a charge. It has two-way Bluetooth and USB support. Shanling will also have their M2S, a little bigger, 3-inch display, has an AK4490 EQ DAC, supports PCM up to 32384, and native DSD 256. It'll go 9 hours on a charge. It also has two-way Bluetooth and USB support. While you're at the Shanling exhibit, also make sure to check out a couple of their other products. Their headphone amp DAC combos. One's called the Shanling Up, and the other one's called the Shanling H1. The Bit will be at CanJam London, and they're going to have their entire line of players, the Opus number 1, the Opus number 2, and the Opus number 3. This is the current flagship. This is the Opus number 2. The Opus number 2 has a quad-core CPU. It supports PCM up to 32384 and DSD natively up to DSD 128. It has a 4-inch touchscreen, and it has balanced output and single-ended output. The industrial design and build quality on the Opus number 2 is something else. Right now, we'll show you some close-ups of this chassis. It's just absolutely gorgeous, so make sure to check them out. EchoBox will be at CanJam London. They're going to have their EchoBox Explorer digital audio player. A lot of you have been waiting a long time for this one. They're going to have it there, and they've been shipping lately, so this is good news. So they're also a sponsor of CanJam London 2017, so thank you for your continued support of CanJam EchoBox. Sennheiser will be at CanJam London 2017. They're actually going to have 2 exhibits at the show. One is a suite, inside of which will be the Sennheiser HE1, the successor to the Orpheus. Yes, the headphone I feel is the best sounding headphone ever made, certainly the best I have ever heard. So it's going to be by appointment only. By the time you watch this, most of those appointment slots, maybe all of them, will already be taken. So if you're one of the lucky ones that gets to hear the HE1 at CanJam London, know that you're listening to the headphone that, again, I feel is the best sounding ever made. Now, for those of you who cannot afford the Sennheiser HE1, there will be another Sennheiser exhibit on the main floor of CanJam London where they'll have the products that are more reasonably priced, if you can call this stuff more reasonably priced. I can actually afford this stuff, though. This is the Sennheiser HD800, the Sennheiser HD800S, the Sennheiser HD650, all three by now pretty much legendary headphones in our community. Of the three, definitely my favorite is the Sennheiser HD800S. They will also have at their exhibit this. This is the new Sennheiser HDV820. This is a DAC amp combo. It is a successor to the Sennheiser HDVD800, to which they've made substantial improvements to the DAC section. They've also improved the amp section. Altogether, it's a significant upgrade versus the HDVD800. Now, it is a fantastic combo with any of the three headphones you see here, especially these 800 series headphones, so make sure to give the HDV820 a listen at Sennheiser's exhibit. They're not only going to have these products, by the way, they'll have a lot of other Sennheiser products at their main show floor exhibit at CanJam London 2017. Oh, by the way, we just confirmed that Axel Grell from Sennheiser Germany, the man behind the Sennheiser HD800s, will be attending CanJam London 2017. I know a lot of you UK Headfiers had a chance to meet him at one of the London Headfi meets. I think that was a few years back. He gave a couple talks. They went over very, very well. And he is such an interesting person to pick the brain of to talk about headphone engineering or even music or any other topic. Anyway, make sure to visit Axel Grell at the Sennheiser exhibit at CanJam London 2017. Sonoma Acoustics will be at CanJam London, and they'll be showing their Sonoma M1 electrostatic headphone system. I dig this system, and it is very unique. First of all, the team behind it includes some of the key guys behind DSD as a high-resolution format. These are the guys behind the Sonoma digital audio workstation that has been used to record thousands of SACD titles. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is an electrostatic headphone system comprised of a combination DAC, ADC electrostatic amp unit and the companion electrostatic headphone. Now, they cannot be separated. The amp will drive no other headphones. The headphones will be driven by no other amp. Again, it's a system. What I like about the M1 is that it's become one of my neutral reference systems, and it was in fact voiced to be similar to one of the team's studio standards. Now, I love having the sonic palette cleanser neutrality on tap whenever I want it, and I love how well it responds to equalization. Now, most of the time, I actually add a few dB of bass using a parametric equalizer. I shared my settings with the Sonoma team, and Sonoma's Andrew Demery jokes with me that I'm adding too much bass. I disagree, Andrew. Anyways, that's what I dig about it. It's on the neutral side of things if that's what you want, and I do want that sometimes, but yet it also responds well to equalization. Now, the Sonoma Acoustics M1 system is a great option for those who want to get into electrostatic headphones and who want to be able to do it with the easy choices that come automatically with a system solution like this. Now, definitely stop by Sonoma's exhibit to hear the Sonoma Acoustics M1 system at CanJam London. UK distributor dealer Electromod will be at CanJam London, and you can probably expect to hear the entire Schiit Audio headphone audio lineup at their exhibit. If you've been wanting to hear their multi-bit DACs, which there are many fans of in the community, then you should have ample chance to do so at CanJam London. I love how Schiit set out to build such a thorough range of multi-bit DACs with 4 different models, from their very affordable Modi multi-bit to their flagship Yggdrasil DAC. Fantastic values the entire line as far as I'm concerned, and it's no surprise that Schiit Audio is among the fastest growing premium audio companies we've ever seen. Of course, Schiit Audio also has a wide-ranging line of headphone amplifiers, both solid-state and tube, along with an amp DAC combo with their Jotunheim, which we did a full episode of Headfi TV about. And I think, by the way, the Jotunheim is overall the best value in Schiit's lineup, and it's also among the most versatile headphone amps, period. It's quiet enough to drive sensitive in-ears, yet powerful enough to output up to 7,500 milliwatts RMS per channel for more power-hungry headphones. Make absolutely sure to stop by Electromod's exhibit to check out the Schiit Audio lineup. Electromod will also be exhibiting MrSpeakers planar magnetic headphones, the Ether and the Ether Flow, and their closed-back counterparts, the Ether C and the Ether C Flow. Now, for those of you who've been dying to hear the latest MrSpeakers planar magnetic model, the closed-back MrSpeakers Aeon, Electromod will have this relatively more affordable headphone that challenges not only its own siblings with its performance, but also challenges other top headphone offerings from other companies priced at and above the Aeon's price tag. That the Aeon is also very lightweight and light on the head, as well as more compact than most headphones in this class, it's no wonder why it's become such a popular, fast-growing premium headphone within our community. Finally, MrSpeakers will also be showing their latest version of the upcoming electrostatic Ether headphone, the final name for which hasn't been announced yet. I've now heard these in a few different stages of development, and it gets better every time, so I'm definitely looking forward to hearing the latest version Ether Electrostat at CanJam London. Again, make sure to stop by the Electromod exhibit at CanJam London to hear Schiit Audio's lineup of audio electronics and MrSpeakers' current and future headphones. Stax Japan will be at CanJam London 2017, so if you're an electrostatic headphone aficionado, or if you're just curious to hear an electrostatic headphone for the first time, then make sure to stop by their exhibit. Now, the biggest announcement from Stax this year is this. This is the Stax SRM T8000. This is their new flagship class electrostatic amp. They haven't released an amp of this class, I would say, in the last 20 plus years, so big announcement. Now, the key thing with this amp is that a lot of electrostatic aficionados, Stax aficionados in particular, guys that have like the SR-07, the L700, or the SR-09, it's been pretty much assumed that if you want to extract the most performance from these headphones possible, that you needed to go to a third-party electrostatic amp, and I think with the T8000, Stax is essentially saying, no you don't. So make sure to listen to the Stax SRM T8000 at CanJam London 2017. Now, at CanJam London, we will have some retailer exhibitors. I always enjoy those kinds of exhibits because typically they have a lot of different brands, a lot of different kinds of gear that you can mix and match and audition. Now, we already mentioned Electromod, but also at CanJam London, TechZone will be there. TechZone represents brands like Master & Dynamic, Bowers & Wilkins, Marshall, Sennheiser, Kef, Shure, and more. Also, Hi-Fi Headphones will be exhibiting at CanJam London, and they carry a lot of different headphone brands, including Beyerdynamic, Final, Fostex, Grado, HiFiMAN, SoundMagic, and more. Also, Hi-Fi Headphones is one of the sponsors of CanJam London 2017, so Hi-Fi Headphones, thank you so much for your support of CanJam London. We very much appreciate it. So again, make sure to visit our retailer exhibitors at CanJam London, including Electromod, TechZone, and Hi-Fi Headphones. With their breadth of gear, each one of these exhibitors is like a mini event of its own. V-Moda will be at CanJam London 2017, and they'll be showing their newest products. This is the V-Moda Remix. It's V-Moda's first loudspeaker product. It's an excellent sounding small form factor wireless speaker. Now, the Remix also has customizable appearance options, and perhaps most significantly to headfires, it also includes a built-in headphone amplifier. It actually exceeded my expectations in that regard, given the product type and form factor. Of course, V-Moda will be showing their latest headphones too. In my opinion, their two latest models are V-Moda's best sounding headphones, and both are wireless. Now, this is the first. This is the V-Moda Crossfade 2 wireless, and while it is a Bluetooth headphone, it also happens to be the best sounding wired full-size V-Moda over-ear if you want to use a wire with it. It's also the most comfortable full-size headphone they've made. The other V-Moda headphone to check out at CanJam London is the Forza Metallo Wireless. This is a collar-type wireless in-ear monitor, and I think it's V-Moda's best-sounding headphone regardless of form factor, in-ear or over-ear. It has the most audiophile-friendly sound signature in their lineup right now. Equipped with aptX, the Forza Metallo Wireless is also my current top choice as an exercise headphone for its audio quality, but also because it uses a nano coating that makes it water and sweat resistant. Also, V-Moda confirmed that V-Moda CEO Val Colton, who's a true headfire at heart and whom a lot of you know, he'll be at CanJam London, so make sure to stop by their exhibit to chat him up. Sony will be coming from Japan to join us at CanJam London 2017, and I love when the team from Sony Japan joins us. It's always a treat to be able to sit down at the show and talk to the guys who work, who craft, who engineer this gear that we love to listen to, and these guys are passionate about it. So make sure to sit down and actually talk to the guys from Sony Japan at CanJam London 2017. Now, as for the gear you can see in front of me are three components from Sony's Signature Series line. That's their flagship series of audio components. I think it's the best series of audio components they've released in quite some time. Now, this is the Sony TAZH1ES desktop DAC amp combo. We've covered it before, but I want to just talk about it again very briefly. Very, very versatile desktop DAC amp combo. It will decode just about any digital file you can run through it. And then if you look at the front panel, you can see you can plug just about any kind of plug into it as well. Again, very, very versatile. Sony's Signature Series also includes two Walkman models. This is the flagship of the two models. This is the Sony NW WM1Z. This is a purist player. You don't stream music to it because there's no Wi-Fi. You put the music on it like you did in the old days, and you play the music that you've put on it. Again, the idea was to keep it as pure as possible. Its focus, audio performance. Now, it does have some wireless functionality. It includes Bluetooth with Sony's LDAC technology, and that LDAC technology from Sony allows high-res streaming via Bluetooth. This is technology, by the way, that's going to be found in an upcoming version of Android called Android O. This is very exciting stuff. The Sony Signature Series, of course, also includes a headphone, and in this case, it's Sony's flagship, the Sony MDR-Z1R. It's a closed-back headphone that images a lot more like an open back to my ears, and it sounds fantastic, and I think it was designed to with the other Signature Series components like the TAZH1ES, the NWWM1Z, and the other Walkman NWWM1A. Make sure to stop by Sony's exhibit at CanJam London 2017, talk to the team, listen to the gear. CanJam can also be fun for shopping for cables and other miscellaneous audio gear and accessories, and CanJam London will be no exception. Deconi Audio makes upgrade ear pads for headphones as well as ear tips for IEMs. I've seen them mentioned on the forums, but I've never tried their products, so I'll be stopping by the Electromod exhibit, which is where Deconi's products will be at CanJam London. Snugs will be at CanJam London showing off their products, and perhaps what Snugs is best known for are their custom fit sleeves for IEMs, and they'll be at CanJam London doing 3D ear scans for custom sleeves so that you can turn your universal fit IEMs into custom fit ones. Snugs sells custom earplugs and earphones too. For cables, Lab Cable will be coming to CanJam London all the way from Hong Kong, showing their different lines of audio-grade headphone and IEM cables. I've not yet used their cables on any of my headphones or earphones, but I'll be bringing some gear with me to London so that I can hopefully try out Lab Cable's products with them. Singapore-based Effect Audio is very popular in Asia, and they're expanding their business and reach to other regions now. They've exhibited with us at CanJam New York, CanJam SoCal, and now CanJam London. Now we've used their cables here at HeadFi HQ. You can see we have their new Lionheart custom IEM cable being used with my Noble Audio Prestige custom in-ears. This is the Thor Silver 2 Plus 8 wire matched up with our ZMF Icon, and this is the Effect Audio Eros 2 Plus 8 wire with the Audeze LCD4. At CanJam London, try your favorite headphones with Effect Audio's cables as we're doing here, and find out why they're so popular with some of the most die-hard audio enthusiasts. HiFiMAN will be at CanJam London, so you'll be able to listen to their full line, including several new products in near production or even full production form. Here are some highlights. This is the Edition X version 2, and it's the latest version of HiFiMAN's full-size, ultra-sensitive planar magnetic headphone from the reference product line. Now, what I really like about the Edition X version 2 is that it's so sensitive that even headphone amps with only modest power output should still be able to drive it very well. So if you have a desktop rig without particularly high power output levels, then the Edition X V2 will likely be able to be driven without issue by it. Now, compared to the first version of the Edition X, I think the version 2 is an improvement in every respect. This is the new HiFiMAN RE800 in-ear monitor. The RE800 is a single dynamic driver per side design that uses HiFiMAN's new topology driver or topology diaphragm technology. This involves a nanoparticle coating applied to the surface of the diaphragm. Now, HiFiMAN claims that by varying the surface pattern and shape, the compound used, and the thickness of this coating of nanomaterial, that they can manipulate the sound wave formation to achieve a desired audio result. Now, this was inspired in part by HiFiMAN CEO Fang Bian's PhD thesis on nanomaterials, their differing structures, and various properties. The new RE2000, which is HiFiMAN's new flagship universal fit IEM, is also a single dynamic driver per side design, and it also uses the nanomaterial deposition technology, the topology diaphragm I mentioned earlier. Now, whereas the RE800 has a more neutral, crystalline sound signature, the RE2000 has a richer tonality, more bass presence, richer mids. I enjoy them both, but the RE2000's fleshier, smoother sound is more to my tastes. Now, make sure to hear both of these new HiFiMAN in-ear monitors at their exhibit if you're in the market for a high-end universal fit IEM. Now this is an absolute have-to-hear headphone if you're going to be at CanJam London. This is the new flagship planar magnetic headphone from HiFiMAN called the Susvara. Yes, it's expensive, very expensive, but it does the difficult task of topping the outstanding HE1000 V2 in every respect, except for maybe raw impact in the bass range where the HE1000 V2's giant waves of bass energy are singularly unique. Still, the Susvara from end to end is more linear, more resolving, very electrostatic-like in its ability to convey microdynamics and texture, and given its relatively lightweight and comfort and its fantastic extension through and beyond the audio band, the Susvara is my current non-electrostatic high standard and reference. If all you've heard are the early prototypes so far, from back when it was being called the Edition 6, you have not yet heard the Susvara. Go to CanJam London, hear the Susvara. Now, there is one more product you're going to have to hear at the HiFiMAN exhibit at CanJam London. We have a special guest today, as you can see, founder and CEO of HiFiMAN, Fang Bian. I think a lot of you know him. I'm going to let him tell you about the HiFiMAN Shangri-La.
Hello, everyone. I'm Fang from HiFiMAN. I want to tell you the story about Shangri-La. The Shangri-La project started from 2000. At that time, there's no HiFiMAN company exist yet, but it's a DIY project. Start from Mr. He, one of our founder and partner of HiFiMAN. We spent about 7 to 8 years on this electrostatic headphone project, and in 2008, we released the JADE headphones, JADE, which is the final result of the DIY project, and it sounds nice, measurement is nice. So we sold 30 to 50 pieces already in 2008 in Headphone, but we got some issues on the diaphragm coating. So we need a chemist to solve that. Fortunately, I am that chemist. I majored in chemistry. So as soon as I finished my PhD defense in 2010, I immediately went back to China and solved the coating problem and figured out the nano particles coating on the diaphragm. It's only take a short period of time, but however, as soon as I finish that and make sure it's reliable, and I want to make the best product of the electrostatic headphones. So I started work with the industry designer, Correlated Design, for many years to make it perfect. At that time, we also do a lot of samples. So every day, we're assembling a sample. For a couple of years, we made more than 1,000 different samples. So we actually know more than 1,000 directions. We modify it and make it perfect. The perfect model is actually the production sample, the production model of Shangri-La that you can hear from the CanJam London. So just please come to CanJam London and enjoy the music of Shangri-La system. Thank you.
FiiO, formerly known as Final Audio Design, is going to be at CanJam London, and I expect them to have their full product line there, including their popular in-ears. This is FiiO's new FiBA SST. I think it's the most well-balanced and perhaps even the most resolving of any in-ears I've yet heard from FiiO. We've mentioned these in other CanJam preview videos before, in addition to other FiiO in-ears and over-ears. So today, I instead want to focus on the headphone I think many of you will find the most interesting of FiiO's products, and it's a prototype. This is a prototype of an upcoming planar magnetic headphone model from FiiO. They've been letting some of us hear it as they work through versions, revisions, and different tunings, and this one here is the best of the prototypes I've yet heard. This is the version I heard at the last Tokyo Headphone Festival, and I was able to take it back to the office with me to use in different systems, and it's superb. Now, I want to reiterate, this is obviously a prototype. What you're looking at on the screen right now is a rendering of what the final version is supposed to look like. Again, it's a planar magnetic headphone that they're calling AFDS headphones. AFDS standing for Air Film Damping System. You can see in this very interesting exploded rendering the design and components that make up the driver assembly. FiiO has made significant investments in R&D, including measurements by laser Doppler devices and simulation by finite element analysis, including optimization of the magnetic field by finite element method. While FiiO says they still have work to do, they're getting closer to production, and I'm excited to hear their latest version. I took this prototype with me to the latest New York Headphone meet about a month ago, and the response was very enthusiastic, to say the least. This prototype is resolving, smooth, dynamic. It really is a beautiful sounding headphone, and again, I hope and expect for even better performance from the latest version at the FiiO Audio exhibit at CanJam London 2017. In addition to any in-ear monitors we've already mentioned, there are going to be a lot of other in-ear monitors at CanJam London 2017. RHA will be at CanJam. They're going to have their line of IEMs, including the MA750, the T10, the T20, the CL750, and the CL1. The CL1 is a ceramic-bodied, ceramic driver flagship in-ear from RHA. They'll also have their DAC amp L1 portable DAC amp combo. Noble Audio will be at CanJam London 2017, and they'll have their entire lineup of custom and universal fit IEMs. Now, it seems to me the community has been mostly focused on their universal fit IEMs lately, but do not forget that some of the most beautiful, well-made custom IEMs I have yet seen come from Noble Audio, so make sure to check out their customs as well. Empire Ears will be at CanJam London. They'll have their entire Olympus line of custom and universal fit in-ear monitors, both with and without a Dell. Now, if you want to hear two of their flagships in one unit, listen to the Zeus XR. There's a switch that lets you switch between their two flagship versions. It's very, very cool. And yes, it's not a demo piece. You can actually buy it. So make sure to check out Empire Ears at CanJam London. As far as IEMs go, I can't think of a company that's shaken up the performance to price discussion quite as thoroughly as One More has. One More will have their immensely popular triple driver IEM at CanJam London, one of the easiest $100 recommendations I can make in audio. They've topped that with their flagship quad driver in-ears with a fuller, more detailed low end, better extension across the board, and increased resolution. Now, as with its sibling, the quad driver is among the easiest ways to recommend someone spends $200 on audio. Now, of course, One More makes more than just IEMs, so also look for their full line at CanJam London. 64 Audio will be there with their complete line of A-Series Custom Fit and U-Series Universal Fit IEMs. Now for me, of all the pieces I've heard from them, the highlight of their line for me is the Universal Fit Tia Forte. Make sure to give that one a listen. Cardis Audio will be at CanJam London. They're going to have a universal fit that you need to hear. It is a lush yet detailed, beautiful sounding IEM. It's called the Cardis Audio A8. Make sure to listen to it. Atomic Floyd will be showing their new high-def drum titanium. It's a custom-designed, dual-layered 13.5mm dynamic driver and a lightweight titanium housing. It goes on sale later this month, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing it because I haven't heard that one yet. So if you're looking to listen to some of the very best in-ear monitors in the world, both universal fit and custom fit, make sure to stop by CanJam London 2017 and you'll definitely find your fill. Chord Electronics will be in their backyard joining us at CanJam London. They'll be showing the new Chord Poly, which is the companion piece to the Mojo. Now the Poly expands the Mojo's functionality with sophisticated built-in custom software, a built-in data server, DLNA receiver, AirPlay functionality, Wi-Fi hub, Bluetooth module, microSD card reader player functionality, and perhaps even more. Now we've all been waiting for the Poly for quite some time, and it appears we're on the cusp of its release, and I can't wait. I'm going to use it as an alternative to, or maybe even a replacement for, dedicated portable digital audio players. With all the functional convergence we've seen with smartphones, many of us still choose to carry a separate player for music for the sake of audio quality. Now with the Mojo Poly combo, I can use my smartphone as a transport and let the Mojo Poly do the digital to analog converting, the amping, essentially all the high fidelity heavy lifting. So the Mojo Poly can go in my pocket or my bag, it can stay right where it is without the need to fiddle with it, and it can drive my headphones with the full fidelity of a system by Chord Electronics. Now this may very well replace dedicated digital audio players for many in this community, so this is going to be a game changer for many here. Now make sure to stop by Chord's exhibit and ask for a demonstration of what the Poly can do. It's only with the demonstration that you'll fully understand it. Chord will also have their new Hugo 2 DAC amp combo. It's the best sounding, best measuring portable DAC amp combo I've yet used. Here at HeadFi HQ, we jostle with one another to see who's going to get to take the Hugo 2 home for the night or for the weekend. Since its arrival, it's served as my primary DAC amp because I can take it anywhere, and nothing else I can take anywhere performs like this. No, it's not as outlandishly good as the Chord Dave, but it is as close to a portable Dave as I've heard so far. Speaking of the Chord Dave, it will be at CanJam London, and it remains the current reference DAC here at HeadFi HQ. We've talked about Dave many times over the past year. Now at CanJam London, the Chord Dave gets a performance boost with the Chord Electronics Blue Mark II upscaler, which when used with the Chord Dave enables a 1 million plus tap length. The few times I've heard the Dave Blue combo, I was absolutely blown away, especially by the imaging. Holographic, meaty, solid imaging. I've heard it through loudspeakers and headphones, and there's probably not a new piece of audio electronics I want to spend more time with than the Blue Mark II. Make sure to stop by and visit Chord Electronics at CanJam London to listen to their entire lineup. Beyerdynamic will be at CanJam London with their entire lineup, but there are two brand new products that I'm most interested in. The Beyerdynamic Impacto Essential and the Beyerdynamic Zolento Wireless. Gunter Weideman from Beyerdynamic gave me a sneak preview of both of these products in prototype form at the last Tokyo Headphone Festival, and I was impressed by both. The Impacto Essential is a portable DAC amp combo. Beyerdynamic describes it as a digital to analog converter in a headphone cable. The Impacto Essential is specifically designed to be used with a few of Beyerdynamic's top headphone models, the T1 second generation, the T5P second generation, and the new Amaron Home. I believe the Impacto Essential can decode PCM up to 32384 and DSD up to DSD 5.6 MHz. The Beyerdynamic Zolento Wireless is something I'm definitely excited about, as it brings a wireless version of Beyerdynamic's outstanding universal fit wired flagship in-ear monitor, the Zolento, and it does so with Bluetooth with aptX HD. All of the current generation Astell&Kern portable digital audio players and some Android phones are enabled with aptX HD, and I've been mightily impressed with aptX HD so far, especially with the outstanding Audio-Technica ATH DSR 9BT wireless headphones, which are easily the best sounding Bluetooth over ears I've yet heard. Now, my brief experience with the prototype of the Zolento Wireless in Japan, it has me looking forward to what might be an even higher standard of wireless headphone fidelity, so I can't wait to hear a near production or production version of the Zolento Wireless at CanJam London. Harman will be at CanJam London 2017, and while I imagine they'll have a lot of headphones to listen to, look for these two headphones first, especially if you're into headphone measurements. You're going to find these headphones very, very interesting. Let me explain. This is the AKG N90Q, flagship AKG consumer headphone. This is the JBL Everest Elite 700. Both of these headphones contain a Harman technology called TrueNote. True Note is based on a study that was done by a gentleman named Ulrich Horbach, a Harman researcher, in which he discusses frequency response correction in the headphone by using in situ frequency response measurements. So there are microphones in the ear cups of these headphones. You can press a button or activate it in an app, and it will do a frequency response measurement while you're wearing them using microphones in those ear cups. I think those microphones are also used for noise cancellation. So once it determines what the frequency response is, it then corrects the frequency response to smooth it. Does it work? You will hear the difference. And in both cases with both headphones, I feel it sounds better post-calibration. So yeah, I would say it works. So it's very interesting in that regard. Now, I believe the True Note implementation in the AKG-N90Q is a bit more sophisticated than that in the JBL. If that's the case, that shouldn't be entirely surprising. This is a much more expensive headphone. But there is something very, very interesting about the JBL Everest Elite 700, especially if you're into headphone measurements. A lot of you may recognize the name of the Harman researcher, Sean Olive. And that's because, along with his colleagues, Todd Welty, Elizabeth McMullen, and others, they are doing ongoing research on trying to figure out what headphones should sound like, to try to find essentially a preference curve. It's an ongoing work, but the first curve they came up with, we refer to simply as the Olive-Welty preference curve. So, a lot of you are wondering, what does a headphone that follows the Olive-Welty curve sound like? Well, the JBL Everest Elite 700, of the many headphones that Sean Olive has measured and his colleagues, apparently this is the closest they've measured so far. So the JBL Everest Elite 700 is probably the headphone that you should listen to first at CanJam London 2017 if you want to hear a headphone that follows the Olive-Welty preference curve. So I think that's very, very interesting. So yes, make sure to check out the Harman exhibit at CanJam London 2017 to check out True Note in both of these headphones and to hear the Olive-Welty curve as represented in the JBL Everest Elite 700. Now, as I said at the beginning of the episode, there are going to be a lot of things to hear and see at CanJam London 2017. And again, that's happening July 15th and 16th at the Park Plaza Westminster Bridge Hotel in London. So again, just a sampling. If we tried to show you everything, it would take hours. So what we're going to do now, though, is show you a complete list of all the exhibitors that will be at CanJam London 2017. Make sure to join us there. Thanks for watching this. We'll see you next time.